I am Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation will be on Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez. Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez was a 15-year-old girl whose remains were discovered in the trunk of a Tesla registered to the singer D4vd, David Anthony Burke, in September 2025. Her death is currently the subject of an ongoing murder investigation by the Los Angeles Police Department. Now, I want y'all to pay very close attention because I sat with this case in front of 4 charts of planetary alignments. I pulled Celeste Rivas Hernandez birth chart. I have that in front of me. The day she was born, where the planets were aligned. I have the day she disappeared, May 24th, 2024, the day she was last seen. I also pulled a chart of the day they found her body in the trunk of a Tesla that belonged to the singer D4vd. The Tesla was at a tow yard, but her body was found in the trunk of that Tesla at the tow yard a whole year and a half after May 24th, 2024, to which she was last seen. I pulled the chart of that day as well. I also pulled the chart for D4vd, David Anthony Burke. With all 4 charts, y'all know I had a barbecue whipping up the who, what, where, when, and why. So, of course, before I pull them charts, I'm going to pull from my Astro Oracle, because this is going to season the meat that I found in the charts. Y'all know the Astro Oracle, this is my OG. It tells the whole story. If y'all are joining me, welcome to my channel. I am Supreme. I am a high-ranking Astro Oracle psychic. I communicate with the living and the dead. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you'll be notified when I drop my investigations. If y'all are just joining me, welcome again to my channel. I'm glad to have you. Okay? You are about to witness a high-ranking Astro Oracle psychic. If you've never witnessed one before, I don't sit behind this camera fully ensembled with Astro Oracle attire to play with you, because I don't play with myself. At any angle, I don't play with myself. Also, if you're interested in fashion, I design clothes. I design everything. Robes. I design my own robes. I design everything I wear. So, back to this case. Reach out to me in my email. That's in the link below as well. Now, let's go over this timeline. On September 8th, 2025, her heavily decomposed remains were found inside a bag in the front trunk, which is also known as a frunk, of a Tesla at a Hollywood tow yard. Workers had reported a foul odor coming from the vehicle, which had been abandoned for weeks. I wonder how much that person got paid to call the front trunk a frunk. That sounds like some hood shit. That sounds like anybody could have just sat there and be like, you know what? We should, being that it's in the front, we should call it a frunk, because it's a trunk in the front, a frunk. So, but anyway, Celeste was from Lake Elsinore, California. She had been reported missing multiple times in 2024, with the final report in April 2024. Investigators believe she may have been dead for months before her discovery. I believe that too. Aside from what I saw in the charts, I believe that, because they didn't find her body until a whole year and a half later in that trunk, and they found it because it was smelling. But you're about to see why they did not detect that odor sooner, because you would have smelled a body way before a year and a half. But there's a reason why they did not smell it, and that's how I know her body been there for a while. Her body been dead for a while. It may not have been in that Tesla for a while, but it has been dead for a while. And I'm going to get to the top. I'm going to show you. It's all going to come out. So the singer who the car is registered to is considered a suspect in the investigation. D4vd, David Anthony Burke. Reports indicate he was on tour at the time the body was found, and the remainder of his tour was subsequently canceled. His representatives previously stated he was fully cooperating with authorities. Recent developments as of February 2026. Today is February the 21st, 2026. So, grand jury subpoenas several of D4D's family members, his mother, father, and brother, are currently fighting subpoenas to testify before a grand jury in Los Angeles. A Texas appeals court recently denied their petition to overturn the order. A friend of the singer. Y'all know every time them friends come up, y'all know who I always attribute the friend with. Aquarius energy. We don't have to know the friend's zodiac sign, because the friend will always show up under Aquarius energy, no matter what kind of friend it is. So let's write down this friend right quick. Okay? Gonna keep that for our later notes when I start the season, the meat with 5 cards, 5 different seasonings that's gonna season the meat that comes out in these charts. So, the LAPD obtained a court order to seal the autopsy results and medical examiner records to prevent suspects from knowing what information investigators have gathered. So, of course, that can go both ways. Now, a friend of the singer, Neo Langston, was recently arrested in Montana for refusing to testify in the case. Now, investigation findings. The cause of death, officially listed as deferred, due to the advanced state of decomposition. Condition of remains. Police confirmed the body was partially dismembered, but refuted early rumors that it had been frozen or decapitated. Investigators executed a search warrant at a Hollywood Hills home once leased by D4vd. A private investigator reported that a brand new chainsaw and a burn cage were found on the property, though they appeared unused. It was said that you have to have a license to have a burn cage, because it is designed to burn things up to 1,000 degrees or something like that. But you have to have a license to have a burn cage in your home. Like, who needs a burn cage? Most people with farms have a burn cage. This wasn't a farm. This is why they found that highly suspicious. Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Let's say her whole name. Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez. I'm going to make contact with her. She is deceased. Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez. Tell me What happened to you? Celeste Abigail Rivez Hernandez, who was born September the 7th, 2010. It was said that you was last seen May 24th, 2024, and you was last seen with singer D4vd, David Anthony Burke. Tell me what happened, Celeste. What happened to you? What happened to you? What happened to you? In 4 cards, what happened to you? And who did this to you? What happened to you, Celeste? What happened to you? One, these do not come out in reverse because I have a card designed for the upright and the reversals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now look what came out. 2 enemies came out. The first 2 cards that came out were enemies. An enemy in the workforce, an enemy that was also helping. The 6th house is the house of work. That's Virgo's house. That is the house of work, daily routine, health, wellness, fitness, diet, okay? Work, employment, help, service. There's an enemy that was of service here. There is another enemy. We don't know if these are the same. They might be different. 2 different people, but they could be the same person. This enemy, she was also in a relationship with. The 7th house is the house of relationship. That's Libra's house. We're going to look at what came out in Libra's house. And we're going to look at what came out in the 6th house, Virgo's house. There's also an ally here. So this enemy is also an ally. Or these can be 2 different people. But I believe this is the same person. The enemy and the ally. Sleeping with the enemy. At the beginning. It started in the 12th house. That is the house of disappearance. So we're going to definitely look at what's going on in the 12th house. Because that's the starting point of all disappearances. And if y'all been watching my investigations, y'all know wherever I start at when it comes to finding somebody, I look in the 12th house first. The 8th house is the house of death. The 12th house is the house of the missing, the hidden, that which is hiding. There's a beginning here. We're going to look at this beginning. The end in the 3rd house. The 3rd house is where they actually found her body. In the frunk of a Tesla. A front trunk of a car that was parked out on the street, but then it was towed. The Tesla was found at a regular civilian block in a neighborhood. And I believe it's the neighborhood that D4vd used to live in before they towed it to the tow yard. And that's where they found the body, in the frunk. Let's pull the chart. So, don't forget this friend here. Celeste Hernandez was born September 7th, 2010. On that day, the sun was in Virgo and the moon was in Leo. When you put a Leo moon in Virgo's house, Virgo season, which is the 6th house, look what comes first. Pisces. This is a 12th house. When you put a Leo moon in Virgo's house, everything in red represents whose house it is. Everything in black represents who's there. This is a 12th house chart. The beginning. You cannot make this up. Now, look what comes first. Pisces. Now, look what's in the actual 12th house. Aquarius. The friend. The beginning. Let's follow this friend too. But first, let's talk a little bit about Celeste. This is her birth chart. Y'all know I can't determine whether a person is dead or missing when it comes to the birth chart. I have to look at that in the disappearance chart. But what I can determine just by looking at the birth chart is if they are missing, where it most likely started. It always starts in the 12th house. And this is a 12th house chart. And in the 12th house, I see Aquarius, the friend. But this is a 12th house chart, not because Aquarius is in the 12th house, but because Pisces comes first. And Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. See, Aquarius is right in the 12th house. That's Pisces' house. Pisces' house is the 12th house. That's where Aquarius is, the friend. So we have two people. We have a friend and we have a singer. Now, the 6th house, which is where we put that Leo moon in Virgo's house, which is the 6th house, is the enemy. Leo in the 6th house. The 6th house is the house of work. Whatever sign is here lets me know what kind of work is involved. Leo is always entertainment. This is somebody from the entertainment industry. The only person we know so far from the entertainment industry that was in the energy of Celeste Hernandez, especially when she was last seen, was D4vd. This is the entertainment industry worker. Now, there's also an enemy in the 7th house. This is the enemy she was in a relationship with. The 7th house is where I see Virgo. Virgo rules the 6th house where this Leo entertainer is at work at. But Virgo shows up in the 7th house. So I feel like this was the singer that she was in a relationship with. I believe this is the same person because both of these cards lead to the same individual. This card just lets us know that the person she was in a relationship with was in the entertainment industry. And this had a lot to do with his work. Now, there's also an ally here. Somebody that was on her side. Now, ally is the opposite of enemy. If enemy would have came out in reverse, it would have meant an ally. But being that I don't do reversals, I created an ally card. So if there be any ally involved in the case of whoever I call forth, that card will come out. Because all of my decks are designed to serve me. Because I created them. I have 20 decks, about 20 to 23 decks that I've created. And each and every one of them are designed for specific information that I call forth from the ethers. And they all obey me. Now, Celeste was a Virgo as well. So this is also Celeste. But Virgo energy also represents the 6th house because that's Virgo's house. Virgo shows up in Libra's house because this is the relationship. She was in a relationship with the enemy. And she also may have been an enemy to D4vd's work, vice versa, because 2 enemy cards came out. Now, let's pull the disappearance chart. Celeste disappeared May 24th, 2024. On that day, the sun was in Gemini and the moon was in Sagittarius. And when you put a Sagittarius moon in Gemini's house, which is the exact opposite of Sagittarius, Libra comes first because it was a full moon that day. And y'all know full moon babies and full moon events and full moon days. Full moon people, places, and things always have a Libra rising chart. This is a 7th house chart because it was a full moon that day. Now, there is an enemy in the 7th house. And this enemy was Virgo. Now, Celeste is a Virgo. Was she the enemy? Or was she in a relationship with the enemy? Because Virgo is also in the house of relationships, which is the 7th house. That is the house of relationships, the 7th house. That's Libra's house. Now, look where Libra is at in Celeste's birth chart. It's in her house of death. And this is the beginning of a death. This doesn't let me know whether she's dead or not. But if she is dead, which we know for a fact she's dead, this in the birth chart will let me know where it started. Celeste's death started with her significant other. Libra is always the partner. Not only is Libra coming first the day she was last seen, but also the enemy is in Libra's house, which is the 7th house, Virgo. She is a Virgo. But also, this enemy is D4vd, who is the entertainer in the house of work. They were enemies. They were enemies. Now, they had something in common. This ally. Now, when I look in the 6th house of the day she disappeared, I see Pisces. Sounds familiar? That is what came first in Celeste's chart. Pisces is the energy of the hidden. It rules the 12th house, which is why this is a 12th house chart, which is where her friend is. The friend. This friend plays a role as well. And I believe the friend was the ally. I believe the friend was the ally because in the 6th house, where this enemy also popped up at, I see Pisces. Now, when Pisces shows up as an enemy in the house of health, which is the 6th house, Pisces is the energy of drugs, intoxication, drugs. Now, in the house of death, the day Celeste disappeared, if she did die that day, it would have been under Taurus energy. And I believe that that is most likely during the time that she died. Why? Because look where Taurus is at in Celeste's birth chart energy, in the 3rd house. And that is where it all ended. You see, energy does not lie. Not the way I call it forth. It does not lie. Check this out. I'm going to pull the chart of when Celeste's body was found. Her body was found a whole year and a half later. Her body was found September 8th, 2025. On that day, because y'all know my bulletin ain't big enough to put 4 planetary alignments up, but I wrote this shit down, okay? Look, Celeste's body was found September 8th, 2025. Look, the sun was in Virgo and the moon was in Pisces. This is another full moon chart because Virgo is the opposite of Pisces. And whenever the sun is in the opposite sign of the moon, it is a full moon, which is why you can see the whole moon. And what did I tell you? Every full moon person, place, or thing is birthed under a Libra rising chart when Libra comes first. So this is the same chart. Not only is this the chart of when Celeste was last seen, but this is also the same chart of when they found her body. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. The same exact chart. So the answer to her death, the who, what, where, when, and why is in this chart right here. And you know what that answer is? Her partner did it. What partner? Look over in Libra rules the 7th house. This is why this is the 7th house chart, because Libra comes first. But if you look in the actual 7th house, you'll see Aries. Who's in Aries? Guess what? I pulled D4vd's chart. And guess what he is? An Aries. You cannot make this up. He is in Aries. His moon is in Scorpio. He was born March 28th, 2005. I told y'all I had a barbecue with these charts, whipping up the who, what, where, when, and why. So when you put an Aries sun in Scorpio's house, which is the 8th house, guess what comes first? Virgo. The relationship partner, the enemy in Celeste's chart. Her enemy. She's also an enemy to D4vd. And look what's in D4vd's house of death. Aries. He is an Aries. He is right there located in the house of death. He is Celeste's partner in her house of death that came first the day she disappeared and the day they found her body. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. You will not make this up. You cannot. And remember, I told you there's some drugs and intoxication involved. There is an ally here. Because in the 12th house, which is Celeste's birth chart, this ally is the friend. You know how I know that? Because in the 12th house, you see Aquarius, the friend. Look what's in the 6th house in D4vd's chart, because that's his friend. He wasn't Celeste's enemy, but he was D4vd's friend. This is why he came out in the house of the ally. You can't make this up. In David's energy. This is a 6th house chart. The chart that the ally came out in, but this is also David's chart, where David is in the house of death. Am I saying David is the killer? What I'm saying is David is in the house of death. What you think? You do the math. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. I am a high-ranking astro oracle psychic. I told you I do not sit here to play with you because I don't play with myself. This is my formula of how I get information, and it works. It will always work. You cannot find that formula nowhere on the internet. You type in birth information, they're going to give you an internet generated planetary alignment and chart, not the supreme formula. The supreme formula is actually the original formula of time. It's not even something that I invented. It's something that I used to formulate time, the sun and the moon. And it still works to this day because that's the same formula of time that worked in the beginning. The sun and the moon never change. Yet we done been through thousands of calendars. The sun and the moon is still doing the same movements. Everything revolves around the sun. The full moon still comes in at the right time, the same time. The new moon comes in the same time. Time is fluid. Time is fluid. They tried to say, well, the equinox, which is the division of time that they use in tropical astrology, it changes. Some years it's March 19th, some years it's March 20th, some years it's March 21st, some years it's March 17th, some years it's March 20th. You know why? Because time is fluid. Nothing just happens, poof. It's nighttime, the sun went down. Oh, it's daytime, the sun is up. Sunset, sunrise, sunset, sunrise. No. Time is fluid. It takes time. As the sun goes down, it takes time for things to get dark. And as the sun comes up in the morning, it takes time for the day to be lit. It's not no light switch. Nighttime, daytime. No. Time is fluid. That's why numerous years, it's a window. It is a window of time. The equinox is a window of time. They make it seem like it's a light switch of time. Oh, if it doesn't happen March 20th, exactly 7 o'clock a.m. every year, then that formula of time is inaccurate. No, time is a window. Within that window is always the same window every year. That window is from March 18th to about March 21st. The same window. Everything happens within a window of time. The sun rises within a window of time. The sun sets within a window of time. But they have it, sunset is at 6:52. No such fucking thing. So at 6:51, we was chilling, basking in the sunlight, and then at 6:51 and 59 seconds, 60 seconds, 6:52, the sun went down. No, it's a window of time. It takes the sun it takes the sun about an hour or two to go down. It takes hours after the sun starts to descend. That's hours, period, of time. That's not a light switch. So yes, if you want to know the most accurate story of time, that is the formula. That formula will never let you down. So we know what happened to Celeste Rivas. Okay? Now, I believe she was drugged because I see Pisces in the sixth house and I see the friend. Okay? And I also see a romantic experience with the friend. There was more than one person involved. Okay? More than one person is involved. But yeah, definitely, it was her significant other. And we know who that significant other is because I pointed everything out to show you. So that is my reading on Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez. And I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to this. Y'all be blessed and rest in peace to Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez.